Hi everyone. Good morning to all of you. Okay. Online students, am I audible? Please confirm. Okay, great. Now let's start with the class. We have been learning about objects lately. We have seen that object orientation. If someone is going to ask us what is object orientation, we are going to answer like it is an approach of programming which involves solving the real world problems with the help of program. What is the major thing in this object oriented approach? We have to represent the real world entities as programmable objects. So in a way, objects can also be defined as representation of the real world entities, programmable representation of the real world entities. We have seen that if we want to create a particular object, we must give some information. Basically, an object is going to have some two parts, state as well as behavior. These two are the major information whichever is required by the JVM to create an object. In order to do so, in order to provide this information about the state and the behavior of the object to the JVM, we must write all this information inside a template or inside a blueprint called as a class. So a class can be defined as what? A template as a blueprint which contains all the information required to create a class. In order to create an object in Java, we use a keyword called as new. New is followed by the name of the class, whose object we are supposed to create. We have seen that, okay, while we are creating the object, at the same time, if we want to set the values for our instance variables, we can use the concept of constructors. We have seen that a few things about a constructor. First, name of a constructor will be same as the name of the class. The use of a constructor is to set the values for our instance variable, that is the state of an object. Also, a constructor is going to get called during the object creation. This is what we have seen. Yesterday we saw that, okay, according to a programming convention, the name of the local variables inside the constructor must be same as the name of the instance variables also. But when we tried to do so, we were facing some problem. The values we were trying to update was not reflecting in the instance variable. Instead, what was happening is the local variables were shadowing this instance variable. So no change was happening on the instance variables. And when we tried to access the instance variables, we were getting the default values. Then to overcome this particular problem, we used a keyword called as this. What is this? This is a temporary reference variable which is going to hold the address of the newly created object. This is what we have learned in the yesterday's class. Now, for many days, what we have been telling is, okay, some local variables we are dealing with. We are also dealing with instance variables and all. So today, first, let's find out what are the differences between local variables and instance variables. Please give the heading as difference between local variables and instance variables. Difference between local variables and instance variables. Difference between local variables and instance variables. Okay. Kindly close your notebooks and concentrate over here. We'll try to understand the differences with the help of a program. Let's suppose what we are having is we are having a class, and maybe the name of this class happens to be test. I have created a class, the name of the class is test. Inside this class, what I'm going to do is maybe a couple of variables I'm going to declare. Maybe I will declare a variable like this, int a. Maybe I am also going to say int b is equal to 20. Something like this I am going to tell. I am also going to maybe declare a method. Maybe I'll declare a method like void, maybe fun. Inside this fun method, what I'm going to do is maybe I'll say int x is equal to 100, or int simply I will say x. And I am also going to say int y is equal to what? Maybe 200. I am going to say like this. What I am going to do is I'll try to print the two variables. Maybe I'll say system dot out dot println. Maybe I am going to say the value of x is equal to plus x. I am also going to print maybe system dot out dot println. Maybe I will also try to print the value of y. Maybe I'll say y is equal to plus y. I am going to end this method called as fun, something like this. Maybe what I am also going to do is one more method I will have. Maybe I will call it the main method. Now, of course, main method I can declare in the same class also, different class also. So far, we have been declaring in the different class mostly. Maybe what I am going to do is for this particular program, I am going to declare the main method also in the same class. Or we can also do what? Create another class called as test app maybe. There also we can declare, it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead, and in the same class maybe I will have the main method. Main method in Java looks like public static void main. We know that the main method of Java is also going to accept a string of arguments. Maybe something like this. Inside the main method of Java, what I want to do is, maybe I want to access the state, that is A and B. I also want to call the method called as fun. If we want to access the methods or the variables present inside a class, we must first create its object. If it was a static method, I would not be creating object. But is it a static method? No, it is not a static method. If you want to access a non-static method or a non-static variable, you must first do what? First create an object. Whose object should I create? Can you tell me? Only one class is present here, that is test. So of course we will be creating object of the test class. In order to create an object in Java, we have a keyword called as new. New is followed by the name of the class whose object we have to create. Maybe I'll say test. Object will be created, address will be thrown. Maybe I'll store the address in a variable called as t. The type of the reference variable must be same as the type of the class whose object we have created. So I'm going to say test. Now maybe what I will do is, first I will try to print the value of the two variables a and b. Maybe I am going to say system dot out dot println. Maybe I am going to say the value of a is equal to, as a message I have done this. Along with this message, I want to attach the value present inside. First of all, that t dot a. Similarly, what I am going to do is, I am also going to print system dot out dot println. Maybe I am also going to print the value of b by saying b is equal to, along with this I will attach the value present inside t dot b. This is what I am going to do. Now I also want to call this method called as fun. So maybe I am going to say t dot fun. I am going to close the method called as the main method. I am also going to close the class called as test. Let's suppose this is the program what we are having. In the method fun, I have not written public. If you want, you can write. As of now, it doesn't matter. If it will matter, I will tell you. Suppose this is the program we are having. Okay, this is the program we have. I need you to note this program first in your notebook and try to think when we are going to run this, what output is going to come. It's a request. Please don't type this on your laptop or mobile phone and simply check. Have it in your notebook and try to think like the JVM how the program will execute. Please note it down. In the test class only, I am having the main method Hemant. We can create it in a different class also, same class also, not a problem. Have it in your notebook and try to think what output will be there. Again, it is only based on the knowledge which you already have, what has already been covered in the class. No extra knowledge from that is required. Please at least try to think, make the diagram, think. Richa, you simply have to find the output for the program. Okay, nice, Bhuvaneshwari. No, Shivaranjini. It is not compulsory for the method to be public. Ranjit, it is not compulsory to have public. If it will be compulsory, I'll tell. So what outputs have you got? For A, what output have you got? For B, okay. In the fun method for X, Y, very good. Okay, we'll try to compile and execute this program. Please try to see here. So the same program I have typed. I'll just try to share the screen. All right. So this was the program which we had, program called as test. Now maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the command prompt. I have saved it on the desktop. So I'll first go to the desktop by using the command cd desktop. After that, I'll try to compile my file. For compiling a Java program, we need a software called as the Java's compiler. And for calling the Java's compiler, we have got the command called as Java C. Some problem with it. All right. Java C space, the name of my file, that was test.java. I'm trying to do what? I'm trying to compile this particular program. When I will press enter, what is happening is I am getting an error. What is the error saying? The variable x might not have been initialized. The variable x might not have been initialized. Which type of variable is x? Local variable or instance variable? It is a local variable. Let me try to comment that line where I am getting the error. In this line I am getting the error. Maybe I'll try to comment off this line. That means this line is not going to participate in the program. I'll save it. I'll go back to command prompt. Now what I am going to do is once more I will try to compile it. Now there is no problem in the compilation. After I'm not trying to print the value of my local variable x, I'm not getting any problem. I will try to execute the program. Maybe I'll say Java space name of my class, that happens to be test. I'll execute it. For A, I am getting the value as 0, which everyone told. For B, I am getting the value as 20, which everyone told. And for Y also I am getting the value as what? 200. This also everyone told. But what is the problem with X? That is what we need to see. Let's find out what is happening over here. Now, my friends, I have told you that the instance variables will be given some default values, but that is not the case with every variable in Java. Our local variables, they are not given any default values. It is mandatory that if you want to use a local variable, you must first initialize them or you must first give them some value. You cannot use a local variable without giving them some value. Okay. How this particular program is going to execute is, of course, it won't execute because compilation time only we are getting the error. But let's suppose, it was executing. What will happen is something like this. Program would be starting when the JVM would be calling the main method. Whenever in any program we are dealing with the execution and all, two major memory segments will be involved. One happens to be the stack segment, and we are also going to have what? We will be also having the heap segment. So better I am going to draw both of them. Let's suppose this is our stack segment, and maybe this happens to be the heap segment. Program execution should start from where? From the JVM calling the main method. As soon as JVM is going to call the main method, what will happen? One stack frame for the main method will be created on the stack segment. So maybe as soon as the JVM would have called the main method, what would have happened is one stack frame for the main method would have been created like this. This is the stack frame for the main method. Control is going to enter the main method. Again, it does not matter whether we are writing something above the main method or after the main method. Program, as of now, we know that will start from the main method itself. So program will start. The very first statement, what is there? Equal to symbol is there. We have seen many times that whenever in programming equal to symbol will be in word, the program is going to start from the right hand side. On the right hand side, we are having a keyword called as new. As soon as the JVM sees the new keyword, it will go to the heap segment and allot a block of memory. So maybe the block of memory on the heap segment will look something like this. This block of memory will also be having some address. Let's assume the address to be maybe 1000. New is followed by what? New is followed by the name of the class whose object we have to create. In this case, the class happens to be test. Now, as soon as JVM sees test, it will go to the class called as test and have a look at all the states and behaviors. In this program, states and behaviors won't make any sense, but we will concentrate more on the instance variables and the object related methods. Any variable which is created inside the class but outside any method, they are also known as what? Instance variables. And where do instance variables get the memory? Always inside the object. So the two variables A and B will be getting the memory where? Inside the object. It will look something like this. A will be there and B is also going to be present. For A, we have not provided any value. So the default value will be provided. The default value of A will be what? 0 because it is of the int type. For B, we have provided a value. So default value is not required. 20 will be the value which is given to B. This is what is going to happen. Now, one behavior is also there. One method is also there called as fun. Fun will also be getting the memory on the object. Any non-static method, non-static variable will be getting the memory inside the object. Control is going to move forward. Everything on the right hand side is executed. Now what is also going to happen? The object's address is going to be thrown back, which we are storing in a variable called as T. Where are we declaring T? Inside the body of the main method. So T will be getting the memory on the body of the main method. Maybe on the body of the main method, we will be having a variable called as T. T is a reference variable because it is holding the address of an object. As soon as T is having 1000, what it will do? It would start referring to this object present on the address 1000 like this. This is how it is going to be represented in the memory. Control is going to move forward. System.out.println A is equal to, onto our computer screen, maybe this is our computer screen. Onto our computer screen, what should happen? A is equal to will print exactly as it is because it is present within double quote. Along with that, we are printing T dot A. T means what? T means 1000 over here. Dot means inside. A means what? A means 0. So on the computer screen, it is going to print A is equal to 0. Control is going to move forward to the next line. We are telling system.out.println B is equal to whatever is within double quote exactly as it is we have to print. So B is equal to will print exactly as it is. Along with this message, we are attaching the value T dot B. Once more, T means 1000 over here. Dot means inside. B means 20. On the screen, it is going to print what? 20. Control is going to move forward. What are we doing? T dot fun. We are calling a method. Whenever a method is called in Java, what happens? Its stack frame gets created on the stack segment. So on the stack segment, one more stack frame will be created. This is the stack frame for a method called as fun. Control from here will be going to the fun method. Control is going to enter the body of the fun method. We are declaring a couple of variables x and y. To x we are not giving any value. To y we are giving the value as 200. Since X and Y we are declaring inside the fun method, they will be getting the memory on the stack frame for the fun method. So on the stack frame for the fun method, we will have a variable called as X. We are also going to have a variable called as Y. For X, we have not given any value, but for Y, we have given the value as 200. So Y will be having the value as 200. Control is going to move forward. What are we telling? System.out.println X is equal to. So it should do what? It should print something like this. It is not going to print, but it should print something like this. X is equal to. So this method, what are we doing? We are attaching the value present inside X. What is the value present inside X? No value is present inside X. Since no value is present inside X, what is going to happen? Over here, while printing this line only, what should happen? We will be getting some error. Because of this line only, what has happened? We have got the error. Please remember, local variables are not given any default values. Okay, we must initialize them. We must give them some value before we are trying to print them. So over here, what should happen? An error should be occurring. Okay, but what are we doing? We will act like we have commented this particular line. Control is going to move forward. What are we telling? System.out.println Y is equal to, onto the computer screen it is going to print Y is equal to. To this we are attaching the value present inside Y. What is the value present inside Y? We have 200. So on the screen it is going to print 200 like. Control is going to move forward. Control has reached the end of the method called as fun. Whenever control reaches the end of a method, it goes back to wherever it came from. So control will be going back over here. Once the control is out of a method, what is the one thing which is going to happen? The stack frame for the particular method will be deleted. So this particular stack frame for the fun method will be deleted. If the stack frame of a method is deleted, what is also deleted? All the variables present on the stack frame are also deleted. So X is going to be deleted as well as Y is going to be deleted. Okay. Control is going to move forward. Control has now reached the end of the main method. Again, same story. Be it any method, whenever control is going to reach the end of the particular method, it will go out of the method back to where it is. In case of the main method, control will be going back to the JVM. If the control is out of the main method, the stack frame for the main method will also be deleted. If the stack frame for the main method is deleted, this variable t will also be deleted. And if t is deleted, what will happen? There will be no reference variable which is having the address of this object on the address 1000. As a result, garbage collector thread will come and delete this object. If the object is deleted, of course, all the variables and the methods present on it are also going to get deleted. This is how the particular program flow is going to work. Okay, this is how the particular program flow is going to work. Is it clear to everyone how this program has gone? Anyone having any doubts in this? Sure. Kindly check the audio. Is the audio clear? You are hearing multiple voices. Oh my God. Just a second. Now please check. Now is the audio clear? Now please check. All right. Sorry for the trouble. Anyways, this is how the particular program flow is going to work. So what are the conclusions we can have from this? Again, the problem with many of you is that you still have the school and the college mentality of completing your notes. You are here for learning and getting a job. You will be building softwares in the future. So please don't concentrate on completing your notes or solving some problems before the other person. This is not school or college. You are here to learn. Your priority should be learning some new things, learning some new approach. Okay. So when I am telling you something, I don't want attention. Okay. I have got plenty of attention already. The thing is, whatever I am telling, it is very, very important. Every small thing I am telling, I am going to use it in a future concept also. So the moment you are writing, when I am dictating something, you are missing some very valid, very important point. Okay. So please, it's again a very humble request. Please don't write or type during the time when I am dictating. I am going to give you more than enough time required to copy down the notes. If I come early and start rubbing the board, you can tell me, sir, please wait, I am still writing. I'll wait for sure. Okay. But please, please don't write, don't talk, or don't involve yourself in any other task when I am dictating or giving the lecture. So what all conclusions can we pick from this according to, based upon the difference between local variables and instance variables? First thing, when are instance variable given the memory? When we are trying to create the object. When are local variables given the memory? When we have called the particular method, right? Where are instance variables going to get the memory? Inside the object on the heap segment. Where are the local variables going to get the memory? On the stack frame present on the stack segment. Are instance variables provided some default values? 100% instance variables are provided some default values, and since they are provided default values, we can use them even without initializing them. That means even if we have not given some values to the instance variable, we can try to print them or use them in any case. But can we do the same for the local variables? No. Local variables are not given any default values, and as a result, since they are not given any value, we cannot use them without initializing them. We must first give some value to the local variable, and then we are free to use them. But without giving them any value, we cannot use the local variable. Next point, when will the instance variables, be deleted from the memory? Think after the object has been created, after the object becomes the garbage object and it has been deleted by the garbage collector thread. When will the local variables be deleted from the memory? Once the method execution is finished, control is going out of the method, the stack frame is getting deleted. The same time, local variables will also be deleted from the memory. So in your notebook, just make one table type of thing. One side you can have instance variables, another side you can have the local variable. One side you have instance variable, another side local variables. Difference between instance variables and local variables. First, let's start by where we are creating them. Where are we defining the instance variable? Inside a class, but outside any method. Please write the first point on the instance variable side. Instance variables are declared. Instance variables are declared. Instance variables are declared inside a class. Instance variables are declared inside a class, but outside a method. Instance variables are declared inside a class, but outside a method. Okay. Next, in the same first point, towards the local variable side, we will write. Please write. Can you tell me where we are declaring any local variable? Inside a method. Please write. Local variables are declared. Local variables are declared. Local variables are declared inside a method. Inside a method. Inside a method or a constructor. Local variables are declared inside a method or a constructor. Inside a method or a constructor or any other block. Inside a method or a constructor or any other block. Or any other block. What are the other possible blocks? Little later we will understand. Second point, let's talk about when they are given the memory. Let's talk about instance variable. Please write. Second point on the instance variable side. Please write. Instance variables are allotted memory. Instance variables are allotted memory. Instance variables are allotted memory when an object. Instance variables are allotted memory when an object for the particular class, when an object for the particular class is created. When an object for the particular class is created. I repeat, instance variables are allotted memory when an object for the particular class is created. Okay. Next, second point about the local variables is that local variables are allotted memory. Local variables are allotted memory. Local variables are allotted memory. Local variables are allotted memory when the method containing them when the method containing them is called. When the method containing them is called. When the method containing them is called and control reaches when the method containing them is called and the control reaches declaration statement and the control reaches declaration statement and the control reaches declaration statement and the control reaches declaration statement. Next point, we will talk about where they are given the memory. So about instance variables, third point, please write. Instance variables are allotted memory. Instance variables are allotted memory. Instance variables are allotted memory inside the object. Instance variables are allotted memory inside the object. Inside the object on the heap segment. Inside the object on the heap segment. Inside the object on the heap segment. Local variables are allotted, instance variables are allotted memory inside the object on the heap segment. Same point about local variables, please write. Local variables are allotted memory. Local variables are allotted memory. Local variables are allotted memory on the stack frame. Local variables are allotted memory on the stack frame. On the stack frame of the particular method. On the stack frame of the particular method on the stack frame of the particular method, on the stack frame of the particular method present on the stack segment, present on the stack segment, present on the stack segment, present on the stack segment. Okay. So we have also talked about where they are given the memory. Now let's talk about the default value. On the instance variable side, please write instance variables are allotted, instance variables are allotted default values, instance variables are allotted default values, instance variables are allotted default values based upon their data type. Instance variables are allotted default values based upon their data type. Based upon their data type. Okay. In the same, please continue. Instance variable side only. As a result, instance variables can be used. As a result, instance variables can be used. As a result, variables can be used without initializing them. Instance variables can be used without initializing them. As a result, instance variables can be used without initializing them. Without initializing them. Now let's go to the local variable side. Please write local variables are not given. Local variables are not given. Local variables are not given any default values. Local variables are not given any default value. Local variables are not given any default value. In the same, please continue. Local variable side. As a result, we cannot use. As a result, we cannot use the local variables. As a result, we cannot use the local variables without initializing them. As a result, we cannot use local variables without initializing them. We cannot use local variables without initializing them. Okay. What else? Now we will talk about removal from the memory. On the instance variable side, please write instance variables are deleted from the memory. Instance variables are deleted from the memory. Instance variables are deleted from the memory once the object containing them, I repeat, instance variables are deleted from the memory once the object containing them becomes a garbage object. Once the object containing them becomes a garbage object, and is collected by the garbage collector thread. Once the object containing them becomes a garbage object and is collected by the garbage collector thread. Collected by the garbage collector thread. On the local variable side, please write a point. Local variable side, please write. Local variables are deleted from the memory. Local variables are deleted from the memory. Local variables are deleted from the memory once the stack frame. Local variables are deleted from the memory once the stack frame for the method once the stack frame for the method is or once the stack frame for the method containing them once the stack frame for the method containing them is deleted. Once the stack frame for the method containing them is deleted. Once the stack frame for the method containing them is deleted. Any other difference can you spot? Am I dictating fast or slow? Are you able to write? Anyone facing problem with the speed? Please take 3-4 minutes of time and read all the points very sincerely. Please read all the points sincerely and try to relate with the flow of the program. Hemant, in Java, there is no concept of global variables. There is something similar, but no concept, such concept is there. The global variables, we don't use that term in Java. Please, in the program, after you have finished reading, note the output also. Draw the diagram according to yourself. Diagram the output according to yourself. How many of you are practicing the programs which we do in the class on a daily basis? Everyone is doing. Who is not doing? The thing is, initially in the very first week and even in the second week, I have already told you that before leaving the class, you must type the program, execute it, and then leave the class. Some of you would be following that, some of you will not be following that. These are the small things which are going to make huge difference in getting the job within 2 months of time, 3 months of time, 5 months of time, 1 month of 1 year of time, 2 years of time. Eventually, everyone is going to get the job, but the only difference is going to be the time duration. If you are following the small things which are being told, the job is going to be very near. The more you not follow a particular thing, you are pushing the job month later, 2 months later, and things like that. Okay, so it completely depends upon you. Okay, Ravi Shankar, at the end of the class, just share your screen. Okay, few days back, I gave you an assignment to create one calculator, which must accept the user choice that whatever the user wants to do, addition operation, multiplication operation, subtraction operation, or something like that, you have to do based upon that. How many of you have done that? How many of you tried but was not able to do? Okay, not a problem. So I will tell you a way using some another program. Now please shut your mouth. We will continue with the class. So we are going to learn about something called as an else if ladder. Okay, a little bit of programming we will do. Enough of concepts we have learned for the week. Let's now do a bit of programming. Please give the heading as else if ladder. And I will suggest you to have different notebooks for the Java concepts and the programming we do. But as of now, doesn't matter. Please give the heading as else if ladder. Okay, please see here. See guys, what used to happen was, especially during our board exams and all, what would happen is, initially we would be very confident that at least 90%, anyways, I am going to get. And then using that, that confidence, we will be making some deal with our parents. Dad or mom, if I am going to get some 90% of marks in the 10th, what will you get me? Will you get me a bike or a laptop, something like that? We are going to have a deal. So we will, just try to analyze the same scenario and try to convert that into program. So the scenario is that if our marks, whatever marks we are going to get in the board exam, if this marks happen to be, greater than some 90%, what are we going to get? Maybe we are going to get a laptop. Okay, we were confident, so we made a deal with our parents that okay, 90% if we are going to get one laptop, we want one laptop is mandatory. 3 months was there when you made this particular deal, but after some 1 more month passed, only 2 months was remaining, you become a little doubtful. Okay, 90% maybe I'm not going to get, because the first time I am opening this physics book, so many concepts are there. Physics can get my marks down, but minimum 85 to 90% is for sure. Whether I study or not study, this much marks I am going to get. So then you will go to your parents once again and ask your parents that dad or mom, maybe sometimes what happens is the examiners are going to do the partiality and all, and maybe by mistake I might get 89.99%, just a little less than 90%. In such a case, what are you going to give me? So maybe your parents are going to tell, okay, in that case, maybe we will give you a smartphone or something. If you are getting somewhere between the 75 or somewhere between the 80 to 90%, we are going to give you a smartphone. So maybe that case also will write. The case is that if we are getting what? More than 80%, maybe this was less greater than equal to, but somewhere less than 90% of the marks. In this case, we are going to get what? We are going to get a smartphone. You were happy that, okay, I will try for the laptop, but if I don't get the laptop, at least a OnePlus smartphone I am going to get for sure. One more month passed. Suddenly what happened was, okay, one more month has passed. This history, I am not able to remember these concepts, the dates too much there. Maybe, I will tell my parents that, okay, I'm not feeling that well. So what will happen is I might get somewhere between 70 to 80% of the marks. Again, you go to your parents, big story you make up that our school has, become rival with the other school. They have paid some money so that our marks is less than that particular school. Like this story and all you are going to make up, you will be going to your parents. Okay, let's suppose, somewhere between 70 to 80% if I get, what am I going to get? You start making some deal like this. The deal is what? The deal is you have got more than 70%, but somewhere, less than the 80% of the mark. Okay, less than. Less than 80%, but more than 70% of the mark. Now fine. Here also, this is okay. Here also opposite I will do. This is fine. The marks is greater than 80, but marks is what? Less than 70. Marks is less than 90. Here, marks happens to be greater than 80. Here it will be less. Less than, right? This is the less than symbol. Basic mathematics I have forgotten, Let's suppose the marks in this case. Marks is what? Less than what? Marks happens to be. Okay, so wait. Once again we will write. Full English I am going to write so that no confusion is there. Okay. If the marks happens to be between maybe 90 to 100%. In this case, what are we getting? In this case, we are getting a laptop. In second case, this was our first case. In second case, the marks should be somewhere between 80 to 90%. In such a case, what are we going to get? We are going to get a smartphone. In third scenario, maybe we will say marks is where marks is between, maybe I'll say 70 to 80%. In such a case, what can we expect? Smartwatch, nice. Maybe in this case, we are going to get a smart word. After a few days, what happens? 1 month of the time is remaining. But the worst thing which can happen has happened to you. Maybe some breakup type thing has happened. You are all emotional and all dealing with that only. Even if you are not emotional, you know that you are not going to get the marks between this. So you create your emotion that, okay, I have got a heartbreak now. There was a scene in this movie called as Rockstar, one Hindi movie is there called as Rockstar. In that, he went to the girl, abused him, sent him off. And then he was behaving like full emotional he has become. He was eating a samosa and, chutney was not there. So he was, moving his frustration onto the shopkeeper. That, okay, in this much little chutney you have given him out. Same scenario you have also got. Now you again have got to your parents that maybe I'm not feeling well for many times. That auntie has probably done some kala, black magic and all. So maybe I'm not feeling well. I will not be able to secure good marks. Your parents have told you one thing, okay, you somehow pass the exam. If you pass the exam, one bicycle we are going to give you. So maybe the fourth scenario is something like this. Maybe you have to secure what? You have to secure the marks between maybe 40 to 70%. If this is the case, what is going to happen? You are going to get a bicycle. While making this particular deal, your parents told you one more thing. Okay, my expectation is not so high and all, but at least you need to pass. If you are not able to pass, my dear child, you have to get lost from the house. So if any of this is not happening, what is going to happen? You have to get lost from the house. Let's suppose this is the scenario for which we have to code. Okay, what we will have to do in the program? Few things before we start to do the code for this. How are we going to approach the program? That is very important. How are we going to approach it? First of all, what do we need from the user? We must see that. What is the one thing we are comparing again and again? Marks we are comparing. So marks, of course, we have to take from the user. That user, please tell me how much marks you have secured. Whatever marks the user is going to give us, we are going to store that in a particular variable. And that marks we will keep comparing. Is it within the range of 90 to 100? If it is within the range of 90 to 100, maybe we are going to print a simple statement. Congratulations, you are going to get a laptop. If this case is not true, we will check for the second condition. That may be okay if the marks happens to be what? Between the 80 and 90%. In this case, what do we need to do? If this happens to be the case, we are going to print, congratulations, you have got a smartphone. If both these conditions are not true, then we will check for the third condition, that if the marks is between 70 to 80%. If this condition will be true, we are simply going to print, congratulations, you have got a smartphone. If none of the three conditions is true, we will check the fourth condition. Is the marks between 40 to 70% or not? If that is the case, we are going to print, congratulations, you are going to get a bicycle. But if none of the four conditions are correct, what are we going to print? We are going to print something like system.out.println gets lost. This is the program all about. Now, before I start executing the program and all, I will request you people to at least get ready with the setup. With the setup, I mean that define a class. Inside the class, have the main method. Inside the main method, make the program ready to take user input. How do we take user input in Java? By using the scanner class. If we are using the scanner class, we must also import it. Where is the scanner class present? In the java.util package. From the java.util package, we must import the scanner class also. Then we must ask the user to enter the marks and store the marks in a particular variable. This much can everyone do? Please write this much. At least get your program ready till getting the marks from the user. We will not try to include the lower limit. That means in the first case, 90, exactly 90 we will not include. In the second case, exactly 80 we will not include. That means from 81 to 90 we will include, like that. Third case, between 71 to 80 and so on. All right. Please concentrate here for 5 minutes. Then I will give you plenty of more programs on the same. Let's try to see how we can solve the program. Again, there can be n number of ways, 10, 12, 15, infinite number of ways for solving the same program. If someone says that, okay, I know all the 10 ways of solving a program, we will be able to solve the program in the 11th way also, not a problem. In the class, once again, I will try to tell you the generic way of doing the program. We will try, or it's your duty to make it more and more efficient. First of all, whenever we are dealing with this program, we have to deal with the name of the class. What should be the name of this class? It can be marks, it can be results. Okay, anything you want, you can have it. Examination, okay, anything you want, you can have, but make sure it is somewhere related to the exams and the results. Maybe what I am going to do is, I am going to define a class and I am going to call my class as a result. Inside my class called as result, I will define a very important method, and the name of the method is the main method. So maybe I'm going to say public static void main. We know that the main method of Java also accepts a string of arguments. We have learned that whether we are writing these big brackets after string or args, it is not going to make any difference. We are also going to start the main method. Now in this program, we need input from the user. And whenever that is the case in Java, we should create an object of something called as a scanner class. In order to create an object in Java, we have got a keyword called as new. New is followed by name of the class of the object we have to create. In this case, we want to create an object of a class called as scanner. Since we are taking the input from the keyboard, we are also going to say system.in. Object of the scanner will be created, address will be thrown. We must store the address in a reference variable. Maybe I'll call the reference variable as SC. The type of my reference variable must be the type of object we are creating, and that type is nothing but scanner. Whenever we are using the scanner class, we must also import it. So maybe I am going to say what? Import maybe Java dot util. Now there is a folder called as Java. Inside that folder, there is a folder called as util. Inside that, there is a file called as scanner. So from this folder, we want a file called as scanner. So maybe I will be saying something like this. Now we are eligible to use all the code present in the scanner class. What do we need? We need the marks from the user. So maybe we will ask the user to please enter the marks. For doing that, a message has to be printed. And for printing anything in Java, we have system dot out dot println. Maybe I am going to request the user by saying, please enter mark. Whatever the user is going to enter, maybe I'm going to store it by using what? A method present in the scanner class. What is the name of the method to accept an integer? We have next int method. With the help of the next int method, what we can do? We can accept an integer from the user. After accepting the integer from the user, we must store it somewhere. Maybe I'm going to store it in a variable called as m. You can call it m, you can call it marks, or any CGP, anything you want, you can call it. You can also call it, percentage, PER, something like that. Instead of int, you can take the value and float if you want. That is up to you. Anyways, now what we have to do with this marks is we have to make some comparisons based on whatever has been given in the question. The first condition says that marks should be somewhere between 90 to 100%. That means marks should be greater than 90% and marks should be less than 100%. For doing that, I will start with if. If you see carefully, two conditions are involved over here. One condition is that marks must be greater than 90%. Another condition is that the marks should be less than or equal to 100%. Now, the marks, if it is greater than 90%, of course, it is going to be less than 100%. That is understood. But let's suppose if you have simply written in your program, if marks is greater than 90, that much is also sufficient. But just to show you that, okay, if someone has not written any invalid input like that, so maybe I will consider both the conditions. One, the mark should be greater than 90% and next mark should be less than 100%. If two conditions I have to show, what I will be doing is, first of all, the first condition, if the mark or M I have taken, I'll say M. If M is greater than what? 90. One condition I have taken care for. Along with this, okay. Along with this, I want to attach one more condition, and for doing that, I will be using something called as the AND operator. This is how we can use the AND operator in Java. Whenever we want both the conditions to be true, what do we use? We use the right. Rohit, you were not in the class, so all right. So this is our first condition, that is the mark should be greater than 90. Along with it, we want to attach one more condition, that is mark should be less than 100. So maybe I'll say and mark less than or equal to what? 100. In Java, we don't have that arithmetic symbol less than, equal to, or greater than, equal to. That we don't have. Separately, we have to write less than and equal to. Separately, we have to write. And as many conditions you write, again and again, you will have to use a variable name. Okay, again and again, you have to use a variable name. If this condition happens to be true, should we wait, Rohit? We can continue, right? All right. So if this condition happens to be true, am I audible at the last? Can you please increase my voice a little? Maybe I am going to print system dot out dot println. Maybe I am going to say, congrats, you have got what? A laptop. I'm simply going to print laptop. You can add those congratulations messages and all. For the first condition, we have taken care like this. Okay, for the first condition, we have taken. Whenever in your program, only two conditions are there. Like one program we have done for checking whether a number is odd number or even number. Whenever in your program there are only two conditions, simple if else is enough. If the condition is true, do this. If the condition is false, do this. So that time if else is fine. But in my program, how many conditions are possible? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 conditions are pretty much possible. 4 are the conditions which has been given. One is like the default condition. If none of these happens, what should happen? So whenever more than 2 conditions will be there in your program, if else is not going to be sufficient, we must use something called as the else if ladder. Again, when are we going to use the else if ladder? When there are more than 2 conditions in our program. In this program, more than 2 conditions are there. Hence, we are going to use the else if ladder. How we can use the else if? After the first condition, suppose first condition has been checked. If this condition is not true, we must check for the second condition also. For giving the second condition, we are going to say else if, else space if, and inside if again the second condition we are going to give. What is the second condition? Mark should be somewhere between 80 to 90%. That means again 2 conditions are there. One, mark should be greater than 80%. Second, mark should be less than 90%. So maybe I'll say if marks happen to be greater than 80 and marks happens to be less than or equal to what? 90%. In such a case, what are we going to print? In such a case, we are going to print smartphone. Maybe I'll say, if this happens to be the case, maybe I'll say system dot out dot println. Maybe I am simply going to say what? Smartphone. This is how we can check for the second condition. Let's suppose first condition is not true, second condition is also not true. In such a case, we will also want to check a third condition. And what is the third condition? If the marks is between 70 to 80%. Let's code for this as well. Again, what are we going to say? Else if the third condition is that marks has to be between 70 and 80. Again, how many conditions? Two mini conditions are there. One, mark should be greater than 70 and mark should be less than 80. So maybe I am going to say if marks happens to be greater than 70 and marks happens to be less than or equal to 80. Whenever we are saying less than equal to, that means 80 is also included. If we will simply say less than, what will happen? 80 will not be included. If the user enters 80, what is going to happen? The condition will be false. But in this case, when we are adding equal to, if 80 is there, then also condition will be true. If this happens to be the case, what are we supposed to get? We are supposed to get a smartwatch. Maybe I'll say system dot out dot println. Maybe I'll say smartwatch. This is what we are going to print. In which case, in such a case where marks happens to be greater than 70 and marks happens to be less than or equal to 60. In such a case, we are going to get the smartwatch. Three conditions we have taken care for. Condition 1, condition 2, condition 3. Let's go for the fourth condition, when the mark should be somewhere between 40 to 70%. Again, two mini conditions are there. One, mark should be greater than 40, and second, mark should be less than or equal to 70. So once again, what are we going to do? We are going to say else if the marks happens to be greater than 40% and marks happens to be less than or equal to what? 70. In such a case, what are we going to do? Maybe we are going to print system dot out dot println. Maybe in such a case, we are going to print what? Bicycle. Anyone who doesn't, who has never ridden a bicycle? And there are possibilities. Anyone who doesn't know to ride a bicycle? Okay, you tell me secretly after. Okay. Anyways, so for all the four conditions we have taken care now. We have taken care for the first condition when the marks will be between 90 and 100. Second condition when the marks will be between 80 and 90. Third condition when the marks will be between 70 and 80. Fourth condition when the marks will be between 40 and 70. But if none of these conditions happen, if none of these situations arise, we must be ready for the worst scenario as well. And in such a case, to represent such a scenario, when none of the conditions are true, what to do? In such a scenario, we will simply use else. And along with else, we don't need to give a condition. Along with else, we don't need to give a condition. Simply, we are going to say else system dot out dot println. Maybe we are going to print get log. Okay, maybe this is what we are going to print. Once we have ended this, we are going to end the main method, and we are also going to end the class called as result. This is going to be my program for the particular scenario. So we have also coded for this else part, that is the get lost part. For two outputs or for two inputs, I will be showing you the flow of this particular program. One thing which we must know about else if is that only and only one of the blocks is going to get executed. Total, how many blocks are there if you see? We have one block, two blocks, three blocks, four blocks, and five blocks. Out of the all blocks, only and only one block is going to be executed. Okay, whichever condition is true, that particular block will only get executed. Only if none of the conditions is true, else block is going to get executed. Once one of the block is executed, control will directly go at the last after the else if ladder. Okay, even if one of the conditions is true, control will directly go outside the else if ladder. Let's try to see the execution of this program. Maybe for two inputs, I am going to show you. Maybe this will be the first scenario. And perhaps one more scenario we are going to consider. Okay, we'll try to code for this scenario. Any program in Java starts from where? Any program is going to start from the main method. When the JVM is going to send the control to the main method, control is going to enter the main method. Onto our computer screen, it will ask us to please enter marks. Maybe onto our computer screen, it will ask us, please enter marks. Okay. In your 10th, how much you got? You don't want to tell. 90. Okay. Let's suppose she has entered the marks as 92. She will enter 92 and she is going to press what? She is going to press enter. As soon as she is going to press enter, what is going to happen is using this sc.next int, that 92 is going to be accepted. And where are we storing it? We are storing it in a variable called as m. So in the memory, what is going to happen? M variable will be created and the value of m is going to be 92. This is what is going to happen. Control is going to move forward. Control will come to the first condition. What is the condition? If m is greater than 90, m means 92. Is 92 greater than 90? Yes. The result of this mini condition is what? True. The result of this mini condition is true. But we are checking for one more condition. Whenever we are using the AND operator, both the conditions must be true. Only then the overall condition will be true. What is the second condition? M is less than or equal to 100. Is 92 less than or equal to 100? 100% 92 is less than 100. So this condition is also true. If both the conditions are true, that means what will happen? The overall condition, the result of this AND operator is also going to be true. If the condition happens to be true, control is going to enter this if block. System.out.println, what is a laptop? Onto a computer screen, what it is going to print? It is going to print laptop. No more statements inside the if block. Where will the control go after executing the if block? Directly at the last, after the else if block. That means control will directly reach over here. After here, control has reached the end of the main method. No more statements in the main method. Control goes back to the JVM. The program is going to terminate. But before terminating, what has happened? Please enter marks 92 laptop that has been printed onto our computer screen. So this is the first scenario when the marks was what? 92. What is the thing we have to notice here? If block is executed, any block below will not be executed. Even the condition is not going to be checked. Java is not going to waste time in checking the second condition, third condition, fourth condition. Java is not going to check any other condition. One more input let's try to take and see how the program executes. Maybe once again, JVM will be there. JVM will start the main method. Onto our computer screen, it will print, please enter mark. Please enter mark. Let's suppose this time, the user has entered the marks as maybe 65 and pressed enter. Okay, what is the value of mark? 65, he has pressed enter. Control is going to move forward. 65 will be accepted by using this sc.nextInt. And where are we storing that? In a variable called as m. Inside a variable called as m, the marks, that is 65, is going to get stored. Control is going to move forward. First condition is going to be checked. What is the first condition? If marks happens to be greater than 90. Is 65 greater than 90? No. Condition will be false. Second condition will also be checked. Is marks less than equal to 100? Yes. 65 is less than equal to 100. Now it will compare false and true. False and true. The AND table, there is something called as AND table, and it looks something like this. It will be like for true and true. Maybe I'll say AND. If both the conditions are true, the overall result will be true. If the first condition is true, but the second condition is false, the overall result will be false. If the first condition is false and the second condition is true, the overall result will be false. If both the conditions are false, the overall result will also be false. Only in one case what happens, the result of the AND operator is true when both the condition happens to be true. Okay. So over here, one condition is false, one condition is true. False and true means what? False. So the condition overall result is false. Control will not enter the if block. Control will go ahead and check for the second condition. What is the second condition? If marks is greater than 80, is 65 greater than 80? No. The result of this is going to be false. And marks is, that is 65 is less than equal to 90. Yes, 65 is less than 90. This condition is true. But what will be the overall result of this kind? False and true means what? False. This condition is also false. Control is not going to enter the else if block. Control will go ahead and check for the next condition. Control will be coming over here. Once again, it is going to check for the condition, is m, that is 65, greater than 70? No. 65 is not greater than 70, false. And 65 is less than equal to 80, this is true. What is the result of false and true? False. So the overall result is going to be false. If the overall result is false, control will not go to the else if block. It will go ahead and check for the next condition. What is the next condition? If marks is greater than 40, 65 is greater than 40? Yes, true. Is 65 less than equal to 70? Yes, this is also true. True and true, the overall result will become what? True. If the overall result is true, control is going to enter the else if block. System.out.println bicycle. On the computer screen, it is going to print bicycle. Control is going to move forward. End of the else if ladder. Once any of the block is executed, other blocks will be skipped. So directly from here, control will go outside over here, end of the main method, and back to the JVM, the program is going to terminate. So this is how we can use something called as the else if ladder. In which scenario should we use else if ladder? When there are more than two conditions that can be possible. Okay. So in your notebook, as a solution, you can write this. Yes, Archana, we do have ternary operator in Java. We will use them in one of the classes. I'll tell you. No, Yashwant, we can't write like that. It will give you syntax error. Yes, which case can also be used for this program. Everyone who is facing problem in Java program execution, in today we will be attaching the setup file for Java. In your Slack group, we will be posting it. Please follow that. If problem persists, tomorrow at the end of the class, you have to share your screen and we will be solving the problem. All right. See guys, technically that will be all from my side for today. We'll continue tomorrow. You have to but remain seated in the class for 5 more minutes. They will inform you what to do. We are going to meet tomorrow. We are going to learn about a very important concept of Java, that is loops. Tomorrow we will be learning about loops. Okay. Now, everyone now start making that. All right. See you tomorrow, guys. Thanks. Please be seated in the class.